Hey guys, and welcome back to part 3 of Seduce Me, the Otome. In the last part, we met our group of 5 guys that we can choose from through our adventure, and we received a call from my mother, asking us that on the day after we had all this thrown into my face, or our face, to have a dinner party for our father. Which, knowing him and how he loves corporate stuff, he's probably going to invite more people. But we do have a group of 5 guys who have agreed to help us around the house, so maybe we can convince them to help us out with decorating. Let's get back to it. Huh? How did you... Oh, right. Mind reading. Yeah, I gotta do it soon or my parents will be really disappointed. I'll have to stay up and organize everything tonight.
Why don't we help you? That's what we're here for, right?
I don't see why not.
I can name a few reasons why we shouldn't.
Sam, I should punch you.
Back off!
We'll take care of everything, miss. Just leave everything to us.
That was surprising. I didn't think the boys would offer to help right off the bat. I couldn't help but smile. I was actually really thankful now that I let them stay. Now I wouldn't have to do everything alone. As I kept thinking about it, I couldn't help but yawn.
Feeling a little tired over there, princess?
Stop calling me princess, I'm not going to bone you. Yeah, it's been a long day. At least tomorrow's the weekend so I can sleep. Then it hit me. Wait, where are you all going to
We
sleep?
found some guest rooms on the opposite end of the house from the master bedroom. I'm sure those will do just fine.
Good, stay far away from me. Well, I'm heading to my room to study and sleep. Bye.
Good night.
I will. You too. With that, I left the dining room and went to my room.
Eric, no.
What? I wasn't going to do anything.
Yes, he was.
As soon as I got to my room, a wave of exhaustion hit me. Why am I so tired all of a sudden? I just woke up from that nap. I dragged myself to my bed and hauled up one of my bags. I opened it and grabbed my economics book, knowing that no matter how tired I was, I had to study at least one page before sleeping. After the words on the page scrambled in my mind as I read them, though. But that was after 2 or 3 tries. Equations. Finally, I decided to change into my PJs and head to bed. Today was a long day, and I needed the extra rest. Hopefully, tomorrow will be better. 3 days of surprise in a row would kill me. With that thought in my mind, I drifted to sleep, embracing the darkness of my slumber.
You fucking pretty boys think you're all that, huh? Well, save that to the end of my pistol!
Huh? What's going on? I couldn't move my body. Felt like I was tied up. I couldn't see anything beyond the darkness that surrounded me. Yet, I could hear the sounds of a heated argument coming from me in all directions.
One move and she gets it!
Let her go!
Come on, chicken shit.
Matthew?
Fight us like a real man!
Like you scare me, Sam! Come on! Take one step, I dare ya.
Why can't I see?
Stay away from her, Malix!
And what are you gonna do, nerd boy?
Suddenly, I felt myself pulled to one side and arms wrapped around my body
I've
protectively.
got you. Don't worry.
Huh? Eric? As I was held in tight embrace, the world around me once again settled into a low, peaceful hum. The hostility of the dream before had faded into black as the arms around me rocked me comfortingly. Slowly, though, my eyes fluttered open and I looked at the person holding me. Damien? I stared into the eyes of Damien. His face was painted with worry and concern. I knew he must have seen my dream. Why did I dream of Eric holding me, though?
You can't control your dreams.
Well, I guess you're right.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. What time is it?
9 a.m. James and I were making breakfast when well...
You can't control your mind reading?
No, not yet at least. I hope to learn eventually, though.
Is everything
You're so
alright?
adorable. Huh? Yeah, I'm alright.
That's good. I'm assuming you had a nightmare.
Oh, yes. But it's fine.
You
I'm
didn't
sorry for
disturb
disturbing
us,
you.
Miss. Besides, we'd rather make sure you're okay before anything.
Oh,
Now,
thank you.
Why don't you come downstairs with us and have some breakfast? I'm sure some nice food will take your mind off of what you dreamt of.
Girl, you know exactly how to get me into a good mood. I don't care if I'm damsel in distress. I couldn't exactly read their minds, though, no matter what they were thinking. The two boys led me back into the dining room, where the smell of bacon and eggs danced in the air. The smell wafted from the kitchen and made its way into the room, making my stomach growl in need. Breakfast
We
smells
should be done with
good!
breakfast soon. If you want to sit down at the table, you can.
I nodded before sitting down. As I sat down, however, my mind drifted back to the dream I had. That feeling of hostility around me made my body shudder instinctively, even though I knew it was fake. However, as my eyes closed, I felt a hand place itself on top of my head, breaking me out of my thoughts. Huh?
Morning. You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. Sam, the owner of the hand on my head, raised an eyebrow at me before rustling my hair and moving away to sit down at the table. He then barked towards the kitchen
Hey!
where James was
Is
working.
the food done yet? I'm starving!
There's no need to yell, Sam!
You're yelling too!
Don't argue with me!
From behind me, Eric appeared and sat beside me, rubbing his temples in his obvious
Can't we
annoyance.
yell this early in the morning? It's not like we're in the castle.
Castle? For some reason, when I heard the word castle, I couldn't help but yell in surprise. These guys had a castle? Sam looked at me and smirked at my reaction.
Yeah, we have a castle back home. Our dining room's 10 times bigger than this room.
Then wouldn't it be logical to not yell?
Whatever.
Soon, James and Damien appeared, hands full of plates that carried bacon, eggs, toast, and waffles. They placed the plates down by each seat before seating themselves.
Favorite.
Finally.
Thank you for the breakfast. It looks amazing.
It's our pleasure.
It sounds amazing. All of a sudden, my phone rang!
Hey!
Hello?
Good morning! Guess
The
who's at
Hada.
the door right now?
Right on cue, there was a knock from the lobby door. My heart stopped. Suzu and
I'll get
Naomi
it.
were here. Matthew, no! Matthew, baby, please, don't open the door. As I passed through the archway between the dining room and lobby, I saw Matthew reach his hand for the brass door handle, causing the world to go in slow motion. Matthew, don't! But before my words could reach his ears, Matthew had opened the door and revealed the surprised faces of Naomi and Suzu. The world around me stopped as Suzu and Naomi kept their eyes on Matthew, who merely stared back in fear and embarrassment. I could feel the air go from warm to freezing in a matter of seconds.
Hi?
I could not believe this was happening. How was I going to explain this? This week was bad enough already. To make matters worse, I was frozen in place. Please, for God's sake, someone do other than stand there.
Who are you?
Suzu, let me explain.
What's going on here?
Who's at the door, Matthew? Oh.
Oh. Soon the other incubi appeared in the lobby with us. The situation was not getting pricky. I had to think fast. There. They're all in your head.
Then why did one of them open the door? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It's no use. There was no tie to lie to them. I felt helpless. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder and felt the tension in my body almost fade away. I turned my head to see James smiling at me before stepping in front of me.
We must apologize, ladies. We know this situation must be confusing for everyone. Let's take this to the dining room and we'll explain everything.
I stared at James with wide eyes. Was he going to tell them who they were? Everything seemed so surreal. Before I knew it, I was led to the dining room along with Suzu and Naomi and sat across from their confused gazes. As Naomi and Suzu sat down, Eric and Matthew placed their untouched plates of food in front of them, surprising their guests.
Whoa, this looks amazing! Thank you!
Our pleasure, ladies. We hope you enjoy your meals.
Make sure you dig in!
I looked at Naomi and Suzu as they began to eat, visibly enjoying every bite they placed in their mouth. Hopefully the food would ease their minds for whatever James wanted to reveal. As Naomi and Suzu ate their impromptu meals, James and the other boys stood behind my chair, making me grow small.
Anderson, are you gonna tell us what's going on?
Well, you see. Gently, James placed a hand on my shoulder again, signaling me to just eat my food. As I began to eat, he spoke to Naomi and
We are Miss
Suzu.
Anderson's house servants. We were hired by her late grandfather to help around the mansion, but since he has passed, we now assist Miss Anderson with living on her own.
That makes sense. It's such a huge house.
A huge house for a wonderful princess such as Miss Anderson deserves the greatest of servants to care for it.
But why are you
Eric,
all
please.
dressed so casually and stuff? Aren't servants supposed to have uniforms or whatever?
Well, Miss Anderson allows us to get comfy while we work, so she lets us wear casual clothes.
Yeah, something like that.
We're sorry if we made this situation awkward earlier.
We're very sure that Miss Anderson is also still getting used to having us as her servants. It would be very hard to explain after just a day.
I guess.
So, if I may ask, what brings you two ladies here?
Well, we wanted to see how our friend was doing. Since it's the weekend and all, usually we hang out and just chill.
Yeah, like going to the arcade and stuff.
Or the Pink Lady Cafe.
There's an arcade?
That makes a lot of sense, ladies. Well, we don't wish to disturb you any further than we have, so we'll take our leave and start preparing the house.
Huh? Preparing for what?
We gotta prep the house for some sort of housewarming party thing.
Our princess's parents requested a housewarming party to be held here soon.
And by soon, they mean
well,
tonight.
I guess we can help out or something. Right, Naomi?
I thought you wanted to go to the arcade.
This housewarming thing is more important.
No need. We can handle it. If you'd like to, miss, you can go out with your friends while we handle things here.
Seriously?
Sam, not now.
Well, I wanted to help out, but at the same time, I wanted to go out with my friends. James gave me a look of understanding, letting me know that if I left, everything would be okay. I had to make a decision. I will... I'ma
Are
stay.
you sure?
I'm sure. Besides, it's my housewarming party. I should help
Want
out
us to
too.
help out as well?
I think we've gotten it all taken care of. Thanks though, girls.
Alright, we'll head on out then so we're not in the way.
Sorry guys, I'll hang out
It's
with
all
you guys
good,
soon.
Anderson. We'll definitely come to the housewarming party tonight.
Good. Thank you. I led them back to the lobby and walked them to the doors, opening it for them with a thankful smile. They both gave me hugs before walking out to Naomi's car, which was parked in the driveway. And with that, they left. I was happy that they wanted to help, but I had to do this on my own. It was not their work, so I didn't want to force it on them, just because they were my best friends. We had the entire day to work. The party was tonight, and we had to do all we could to make everything alright. We sat down and talked about what needed to happen before the party started that night. Each guy had been assigned a different part of the party to do. Since everything was taken care of by at least one of the incubi, James told me I could assist one of them. The question was now who. I'ma help Damien. I stayed in the lobby with Damien, who nodded to me
We
and
have to
passed
dust
me
off
a
the
dust
railings
cloth.
and other surfaces before we mop the floor. Is that okay?
I nodded. I rolled up my sleeves, climbing up the steps of the staircase. Easy as cake. Both Damien and I began to climb to the top of the stairs, wiping off the dust of the railing as we went. However, a silly idea came to my mind. I looked over to Damien, wondering if he could read what I was thinking. As I expected, Damien looked over in slight surprise before giving me a slightly concerned
What if you
look.
get hurt?
Oh, come on, it'll be fun! I did it all the time as a kid. Damien stared at the rail in thought. My mind began to wonder how much fun my idea was, hoping my thoughts would convince him. Damien sighed softly before smirking slightly and nodding. Woo! I quickened my pace on the rail, dusting as quickly as I could. As I got to the top, Damien followed quickly behind on the opposite side, until we were both at the top of the stairs. We both then jumped up and sat on top of the rails, sliding down each side like a roller coaster. There was a lot of thought on the execution, but not so much as stopping. Whoa! Our brakes had become us slamming into each other and landing on the floor, him on top of me. I stared up at him in surprise as he looked down at me in concern. Neither of us knew what to say. Push him off gently. I pushed him off and brushed myself off with a grin. See? That was fun, right? Damien stood and
Let's get
smiled
back
with a
to
nod.
cleaning, though.
I nodded. We had wasted enough time. We had to focus on cleaning. Soon everything was completely clean. The floor was mopped, the surfaces were clean, and the room smelled fresh. A job well done from the both of us. The hour of the house party had arrived. In my mind, I kept double and triple checking the essentials for the party, knowing that my dad, he invited his business partners and the executives of the Anderson Company to show me off. I stood in front of my mirror in my room, staring at my form as a million thoughts ran through my head. It was just a housewarming party, but at the same time it wasn't. It was my chance to show my dad that I was better than his expectations. It was a chance for me to see my parents to see me as a woman. That's awkward for me to say. It was my test to see if I was really ready to live on my own. Well, not truly alone. I had the incubi to thank, but even so, I didn't have my dad guiding me or my mom helping me through living alone. A knock on my door broke my thoughts, surprising me.
Hey,
"Who is
Are
it?"
you okay in there? Your parents should be here soon, so you should hurry getting ready.
Well, I'm ready, but...
What? I'm sure you look fine, Anderson. Just come on out.
Alright. As soon as I opened the door to the hall, I watched as Naomi and Suzu's faces turned from smiles to complete awestruck stares.
Dude,
What?
you look hot.
Yeah, you
Girl.
look amazing. Where did you get that dress?
I had it for a while, I just never had a chance to wear it. Figured might as well bring it out now. As I stepped out of my room and closed my bedroom door behind me, as I walked... it's fine. As I walked down the hall to the grand lobby, the incubi stood waiting for me at the bottom, all dressed to the nines as proper servants.
Whoa! They really know how to dress well, don't they?
Yeah. I was slightly taken aback by how great the boys looked in uniform. Each had the poise of a perfect gentleman, even Sam. I slowly began to climb down the steps with Suzu and Naomi behind me. The boys watched as I descended the staircase one step at a time, like knights waiting for their princess. I felt my face slightly flush, I quickly shook my head and regained my thoughts. And as I reached the last step, James offered his hand out to me and walked me down the final
As
step,
beautiful
smiling.
as a princess, miss.
Oh my, thank you.
Are you prepared for tonight?
Nope. As ready as I'll ever be. Couldn't deny that I was nervous, but I had to try. This party was more than what it seemed, and I had done all that I could to prepare for it. Now it was all up to fate. The other boys smiled assuringly at me. It made me feel better. I looked at my phone and marked the time. Almost on cue, the doorbell rang. I gulped. I could practically feel my dad's aura from behind the door. Sam and Eric quickly rushed to the door and opened the double doors wide to reveal my parents, both dressed in their best. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad.
Hi. I didn't know your bequeathment came with servants.
It was probably overlooked. Besides, who would deny good service?
I was completely shocked. My parents didn't question the boys? They didn't ask for verification or anything? I looked at the boys and noticed Sam and Eric staring intently at my parents. Were they using their powers on them? They had to be. There was no way they'd be okay with this otherwise.
I guess the servants counted as belongings to the house.
My mother quickly rushed to me and gave me a large hug. I hugged her back. It had only been a couple of days, but it had felt like so long. And then my mother looked at my outfit.
You look so lovely. David, look at your daughter and tell her I'm right.
I looked at my dad, who was looking around the lobby like an inspector. I stood my ground, waiting for him to look at me. When he did, he let out a small smile
Your
grace his
mother's
lips.
right. You look like you're all grown up.
Ah, Daddy-senpai noticed me. The world around me stopped. My heart pounded hard in my chest. Did my dad just compliment me? On his own accord? My mother was grinning ear to ear at his words. I was beyond speechless. Thank you. Come on. However, a cold face quickly returned as he began to look around once again.
I assume that you're ready, then, to impress the rest of the guests, correct?
What do you mean?
The entire board from Anderson Toys is coming tonight. Even the vice chairman's son will be coming. All of them will be measuring your potential.
My
To
potential?
become CEO of the company.
I know it. Something was off about tonight, and now this party had become much more than I anticipated. I gulped slightly, but I nodded in response. I looked to the incubi, but they were continuing to be servants for my father's approval. I looked behind me and saw Naomi and Suzu raise their thumbs at me for encouragement. let out a small breath before feeling my body accept the things. The things with the thing of the things. Look at me, I am sexy. As if time zoomed forward, all of a sudden, the main hall of the lobby was full of guests. Men and women in formal business attire showed up to meet me and see my new home. I didn't expect many to come, but once again, I was surprised that night. I shook hands with many officials and executives, putting my professional face my dad trained me to have. I felt overwhelmed, but I hid behind a small wall of smiles. Many even asked me questions. I tried my best to reply as maturely as possible. I had to remember.
How do you feel living
Say
on
what
your
they
own at
wanted
such
to
a
hear.
young age?
I actually have to read these. It's been pretty good, actually.
About your grandfather passing away, it really hit all of us hard.
Thank you for your
Do you
condolences.
have college plans?
Yes, I do. I feel like the question came one after another. It was tough to answer some of them because they weren't about me, they were about the company.
What will happen with the company now that your grandfather has passed?
We'll get back on track soon.
Philanthropic policy the company has.
It's a policy that reflects my own values, so I personally think it's great.
Do you think the company should expand from just toys?
I don't think that makes any sense, honestly. Eventually, my questions stopped, and I was back to being myself. Naomi and Suzu were mingling in the crowds, and the incubi were doing their jobs, so I was all alone in a room full of strangers. It was unnerving to think about, but at least I wasn't being questioned left and right anymore. Suddenly, though, my mom pushed her way through the crowd to me, bringing about someone I didn't know.
Honey, I'd like to introduce you to someone. This kind gentleman is the son of the vice chairman.
Oh, hello. With my mother stood a man who looked only a couple years older than me. He smiled and held out his hand to me, silently asking for my hand.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Anderson.
Hello, drop-dead gorgeous. As I placed my hand in his, he raised it to his lips and kissed my own knuckles. I felt my face burn slightly at the gesture. Andrew smiled at me before releasing my hand. My mother smiled to both of us and made me slightly concerned. Why was she excited to introduce me to Andrew?
You organized this party very well, Miss Anderson. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Praise is very much deserved.
Andrew then chuckled nervously, bringing a soft fist to his lips to cover his laugh properly before smiling at me.
If I seem a little forward. I've just been excited to meet Harold Anderson's granddaughter.
Huh?
I used to
Why?
talk about you all the time in the office on how you helped him refine his toys. I only attended meetings and heard all of the stories. You've helped a lot with the success of the company without having to actually work there.
Wow, I didn't know he talked about me. That would explain everyone's fascination with me and their rather personal questions. I looked at Andrew, who had a kind face to me. Something about him seemed off, and I didn't know what it was. He seemed to be hiding something. Whether it was good or bad, I was not able to find out. I felt someone walk up beside me, causing me to turn to them, next to me with my dad, giving his cold stare to Andrew, who suddenly became tense.
Jared's son.
Andrew's body twitched slightly. Whether it was fear or insult, Andrew locked his eyes with my father. I couldn't help but feel the tension between them. It irked me how fragile the air had become. Enough to break at the wrong
You're
word.
the one who wants to be the next CEO of the Anderson Company.
Well,
I stared at Andrew. This guy wanted to take my grandfather's place as CEO? I thought the vice chairman wanted that
David,
position.
leave the poor boy alone.
I'm merely testing the boy's conversational skills. Nothing wrong with that.
of course not, sir.
And polite as well. Interesting.
If you'll excuse me.
Quickly, Andrew retreated away from my family into the crowd of people. Namaste. I watched as he disappeared into the crowd towards the back of the house. I was worried, but I gave him his space. He obviously needed it.
He's not CEO material.
That's because you practically interrogated the young man.
A
You
little
go, Mom.
questioning shouldn't have bothered him. He's obviously not ready for any title in our company.
I bit my tongue. I didn't want to make a scene with my dad. One wrong word and he'd lecture me in front of everyone. That was not something I wanted at my housewarming party. I let out a sigh before looking at the clock. It was getting close to midnight, meaning that the party would soon end. I lowered my gaze to the window and saw a limo pull up. Huh? Whose limo is that?
Oh, that must must be Lewis's car.
I'll go get him.
Ew.
Stay with your father so you can escort your guests out together.
Yes, Mom. My mother left my dad and me to slowly escort the guests out. My dad held his simple smile as he thanked each person for coming. I did the same. Andrew quickly passed the doors before I could speak. Eventually, only Suzu, Naomi, my parents, and the incubi were left. My dad suddenly walked over and placed a hand on my shoulder with a smile. I stared up at him, a wave of confusion washing over my face. What?
You did good tonight. I'm proud.
Oh, thank
Keep
you,
it up,
Dad.
And you'll be a good CEO.
Oh,
All
right.
Your mother and I have to leave. I'm sure Naomi and Suzu need to leave as well. Just because it's Saturday doesn't mean you should stay up all night.
Oh, right. And I believe that achievement is if you impress the guests correctly by saying all the things that they want to hear to make you sound like a good candidate, then your dad will approve and you'll get that. I'm sure if you answer with a lot of the stuttering dialogue or asking to be excused, you won't get that. Just an FYI.
Thanks for having us. It was a great party.
We'll come visit tomorrow or something. All right?
Right.
Good
See
night,
ya.
sweetie. Come visit us soon.
Will do. All 4 of my remaining guests left the building, all but my dad waving back with me. To the last of my guests gone, I sighed and sat on the staircase, tired.
Give her a break, man. She was getting interrogated left and right.
She handled herself the best she could.
As expected, Princess.
Since you're exhausted, why not head to bed? We can clean up.
Hush, Sam.
Are you guys sure?
Positive. It shouldn't take long.
Ho ho ho! It didn't take long to find you little shits after all.
That voice sounds familiar, now does it? I felt a hot shudder run down my spine. The voice from my dreams echoed through the air into my ears. I looked around, panicked. Alongside the incubi, James placed a hand on my shoulder, trying to remain calm.
No one will hurt you.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
All of us shot our heads toward the doors, finally pinning down the direction of the voice. The doors quickly swung open, revealing a sight I would never expected to see. Skin red as blood, eyes black and gold piercing into mine, roughed off clothes and a pistol in his hand. I saw a monster. I covered my mouth to not scream at the sight. Dried blood covered the bandana around his neck as he smirked at me and the boys around me. Beside the red-skinned man was a similar-looking woman in matching thug-like clothes.
What's the matter, boys? You really didn't think I wouldn't find you, did you?
I hoped you would, you piece of...
All of a sudden, the man raised his gun at Sam's face and instantly pulled the trigger. We all gasped in shock, instinctively expecting to see a bullet run through Sam's face, but...
What the fuck?
What?
What should have been a headshot ended with a loud, empty blank shot. The pistol echoed its empty shots as the man grew more and more pissed, pulling the trigger over and over again in aggravation. Luckily for my ears, it became quieter after its first shot.
Would you work?
This place is protected.
What did you say, Shrimp?
This place has a seal, protecting it from hellborn magic.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Ah!
The man growled and threw his gun at Sam, who was able to dodge it in time. The pistol bounced off the ground a couple of times before sliding further away, hitting the wall and a final stopped. As it stopped moving, the gun faded into the black flame that disappeared into the air.
The previous owner had this place protected by magic, Malix.
Malix. That was his name. His existence resonated in my memory from my dream. However, I looked to Matthew in the same confusion as Malix did. The place is protected by
It
magic?
would seem that your grandfather had some sort of protective barrier around this house. From the looks of it, it only disables hellborn magic.
Malix's face grew to that extreme anger.
Then what's stopping me from dragging your asses out and shooting you then?
Out of pure instinct, I stepped forward and placed myself between Malix and the boys. With no power, Malix wasn't going to fight. I took that chance to stand up to him instead of being powerless like I was in my dream. Fuck off! Malix suddenly laughed wildly, staring at me in disbelief.
Whoa, whoa! Let the bitch out of her cage! What is this? A reverse harem or something?
Game loves breaking the fourth wall. Malik grinned at me evilly, walking close to me. Duck! I ducked underneath Malik's incoming hand. I stared at his hand and his black flame tattoo in surprise as I took a couple of steps back from Malik's. Matthew and Damien stepped in front of me, guarding me from Malik's with their arms. I believe that decision is actually timed, but you need to duck out of the way in order to get the achievement.
A quick one. I'm liking you more and more.
Back off, Malix!
Don't start acting tough, you pathetic excuse of a demon. You need more protection than her.
Shut up!
Oh, did I make the little Matthew cry? Why don't you just grow a pair?
Enough, Malix.
The woman, who had been standing in silence the whole time, planted a firm hand on Malik's shoulder. Malix looked at her with a growl and glare that could kill.
Since when did you get the guts to speak out of place?
We both know you've never controlled me. I want them dead just like you do. But now's not the time.
Fuck off! I know what I'm doing.
Do you? Even if you did fight them, there's 5 against 2. We never win.
Shut up!
Let's go, Malix! We're wasting our time!
The two growled at each other. If they could have used their magic, I could sense that fire would glow from underneath their teeth. Malik grunted and glared at the boys. He pointed at James, wanting so badly to use his fingers like a knife.
Just wait, pretty boys. We'll get you and fuck you up real good.
Then Malik turned to me, moving his finger to point directly between my eyes.
Don't think you're safe. Step outside. I dare you.
Calm yo tits with that laughter. With that, Malix and the woman walked out of the mansion. The doors closed behind them, leaving the boys and I alone once again. I felt my knees give out from under me, forcing the boys to quickly turn to catch me.
Whoa! Are you alright?
Yeah. Why was he here?
Closely tracking us. Our blood trail from the forest must have led him here.
We should have stopped him and finished it here.
For once, Matthew, I agree with you.
I stood up and rubbed my arms, feeling the goosebumps Malik left behind me. I couldn't stop myself from shivering in fear of his words. Was he a demon?
That bitch is not a demon. He's a devil.
The devil? There's a difference?
Yes. Demons come from a different plane of existence called the Abyssal Planes. Devils, however, come from one of the 7 circles of a place humans know as hell. Despite us not being human, we are very different creatures.
We actually have brains, for one. Devils always like to cause trouble and try to kill or torture others for their own enjoyment. Demons, like us, know when to use our powers and when not to. We're not stupid.
Devils follow orders from higher-ups in their order, and their power only comes from their connection to hell. Demons all have free wills and don't rely on where they came from to use their powers.
This is all so confusing. Demons and devils and magic all existed, and I happen to land in the middle of it. What do we do?
Safe. You've been protected as well.
What?
What Damien's saying is that the magic that protects this place also protects you.
Your grandfather must have cast it when you last saw him or something of that nature. We can sense its aura around your body.
Well, isn't that nice of him? I couldn't believe my ears. It was the third day of surprise, and this one took the cake in being the most surprising. I felt my head spin once again. What did I get myself into?
Miss, please don't worry. We'll find a way to train ourselves and become stronger to finally finish this feud.
I'm gonna kick his ass right now.
Until then, we'll protect you as much as we can. If Malix comes back, we'll be here for you.
What about going outside?
Like
Won't
we
he?
said, you have a protection spell on you. Even if Malix attacks you, he won't be able to use his magic on you. He'd be just like any other human you can fight back against.
Didn't you say you knew Taekwondo?
Oh, yeah. I felt somewhat relieved that I was mostly safe from Malix. Still, I could not help but feel very nervous and apprehensive about the future. The boys were safe here to train and become stronger, but what if Malix did the same? Even more so, I was lost about how my grandfather knew about magic. I had to find out. At least I had time. I went to bed that night feeling nervous. Despite the words of the incubi, I felt like a target to something I'd never been able to explain or prove. Magic? Devils? Demons? How did this all even happen? Should I really meddle with the situation? They're only staying until after they defeat Malix. That's right. They said they'd only stay until they defeated Malix. After that, my life could go back to normal. Temporary insanity, as Kay would say. The question was then, would I want them to leave? If my life went back to normal, then I'd have to care for the house all on my own. I should get to focus on my life instead of being distracted by the boys. I'd have to. My life. Where's my life going anyway? I was under pressure from my parents with only my friends and the boys to comfort me. Without the boys, I'd have no way to hide from my responsibilities. Enough. Let's just sleep and deal with tomorrow when it comes. Defeating my sense of thought, I forced myself to sleep, unsure of what tomorrow had planned for me.
I promise to be with you forever.
And with that, we're ending the episode, because these videos are getting too long, and I was hoping to not have them be this long. So, in the next part, we will find out what that mysterious voice is. And maybe we'll get a glimpse of what shall happen to Chara in her future. Until then,